Hey everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Warp Zone, our weekly gaming news podcast with a Nintendo focus. Now, if it's your first time here, we try to cover as much of the current news as possible. We do sometimes dive outside of Nintendo, especially when there's time. But this week, I've got to tell you, we've got a jam-packed show. There is so much to go over, and part of me was almost hoping we would have a somewhat quiet show where we could focus and talk and chat about a few subjects. And then the last 2 to 3 days happened, and my God, we got so many game announcements. We've got so much stuff to go over that it is insane. And on top of it, Nintendo surprised us with a Nintendo Museum Direct. Oh my God, another type of Direct. Um, it's funny because the Direct was rumored. We talked about it last week. Um, I don't think anyone was expecting this one though. A Nintendo Museum Direct. And we're actually going to start with that today. But, just to go over some of the bigger subjects that that we're going to try and cover in today's show, just so you guys get an idea of where we're going. We're going to be taking a look at the Nintendo Museum Direct. We're going to take a look also at a sort of new Megaman game coming. Not really a Megaman game, but sort of. We're going to get to play a new Megaman game somewhere. We've got a lot of announcements. Well, a lot, like 4 or 5 announcements for games that have been announced over the last few days that I found extremely, extremely interesting. It's the first time I'm going to be watching the museum thing. Sometimes I have time to watch some of the videos ahead of time. Today, I'm going to be watching it fresh with you guys because this came out like at 6 o'clock, like a few hours ago. And I'm going to be watching it, so we're going to be getting like fresh reactions, what that's all about. I'm super excited because I'm supposed to be visiting Japan with the family over the next few years. We don't have it planned exactly, but we know we're going there. So the fact that I can visit the Nintendo Museum when I'm going to be there is freaking amazing. We're going to be going over, as usual, we're always going to look at the upcoming games for next week. We've got some new Nintendo Switch 2 news. Don't get overly excited for that one. I said it, we're going to cover it when it comes out in this show, but you're going to see why I don't do specific videos for Nintendo Switch news, because doing a video around what came out, like if that's your only subject, I feel bad for you. But yeah, we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the upcoming games, and if we have time, I've got a lot of little like tidbit things that I picked up over the week that I want to look at, things that it's fun for you guys to know about. And over the last few weeks, I have been forgetting to drop the links down below in the description of the podcast. After today's podcast, actually, I'm going to do it right now just to make sure. You will get the links to everything we're watching, taking a look at. So if you want the sources after the stream and you want to check them out, they will be available down below in the description. They'll be at the end. So you do have to go a bit down, but you should be getting all the links and everything if after the stream you want to check them out for yourself. So before we get going and watch the video, I do want to say hi to everyone in the chat that I can see right now. Welcome, Champ Dancer. Yes, you were first. I saw you before the stream even started. Grovel, hey man, Wild One, Nanaki, Corey. We've got... I think that's pretty much it for the chat so far. If you guys have questions as we're going through the videos, comments, I welcome them. Keep them friendly. No, I'm joking. You guys can give me crap if you want to. Just don't go too overboard. But let's start. Let's take a look at the Nintendo Museum video. I've been really waiting. I had to fight not to watch this ahead of time, by the way. But I'm like, no, we're gonna watch it on stream. We're gonna watch it fresh. So let's watch this one together. I'm gonna try to not talk over the video. So if this is your first time watching this podcast, I try to not talk over the videos. If I have something that I really want to say, I might pause the video though halfway through. So let's take a look. And if not, comments and everything, we're going to look at it after we get to watch the video. So we got to do some subtitles here. Okay, I find it really cool that they actually chose a location like that. Sorry, I'm gonna pause it here. I find it really cool that they chose a location like that that sort of has like a historic meaning to Nintendo. They didn't just take a random building. I find that really cool. Only thing, I really felt like the building would scream more like Nintendo Museum. Not go too cartoony, but I thought they would go more with a color scheme that screamed Nintendo, like a little bit more red in the outside of the building. Let's keep going though. Wow, that's really cool. Weren't they making playing cards? Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna get the bar out of the way. I find it weird though that like Nintendo themselves, I would have expected them to have maybe like a full library of all NES games, like at least all NES games that were like, officially published by Nintendo. Like maybe not those what the ones by the black cartridges there that other company pirated, but well where they pirated the NES chip. But I find it funny that like you see games, but I was expecting that they would almost have like on display like a full library of the NES games. And you'd think like Nintendo could get it together. I mean, you'd most likely have to buy some games from collectors, but don't you like? I don't know. I would expect to see that in the Nintendo Museum, like the full library of each one of the systems. But let's keep going because like some private collectors have that. So like, you know, let's keep going. Was there an exercise bike for like the NES? Yeah, that's the feeling I had too, Frenchie Mom. It looked sparse. This is cool because it is cool to see this part because so they made a crap ton of toys. My God, they made plug-in consoles, multi-game consoles. Obviously, they're not going to show us everything because then why visit the museum? I guess you have to know how to play the game, though. But okay, imagine look at these employees in the background. I'm sorry, I have to stop for a second because I've been looking at them rather than him over the last few seconds. Imagine being the Nintendo employees that are hired to be in the Miyamoto video, and they're like, guys, you got to pretend like you're having fun playing with the game. While Miyamoto's like filming in front. But honestly, it might be green screened because the more I look at this, he might be green screened in there. Like this might be pre-recorded footage of people playing and he's just green screened in front of it. The more I look at the shot, the more I'm convinced that's the case. But anyway, either way, look at her, man. She's like completely lost. I'm sorry. She's like, what the heck? Huh? The Ultra Machine. Oh my God. Oh my god, he's actually gonna play it? Let's see how many he gets. Do you think they did many takes or like damn? Man, I love the scope. I'm so sad that I don't have it anymore. The super scope. They just didn't make a lot of games for it on the SNES. It made you feel like you had a bazooka on your shoulder. Wow, it's really cool. It's like Hogan's Alley. It's basically like a Mario version of Hogan's Alley, a huge version of Hogan's Alley. Man, right there, he looked like he was really having fun. Miyamoto looks like he's into it. Like right there, when he had the zapper, man, and he was focused, and he's like, "Bro, I'm gonna win this one." He looked like he was having fun. Oh my god, that must be so unpractical. Dr. Mario, super underrated game. The little sounds he's making, man. This was his game, man. This is his game. That one, I was worried there. Bravo! They made it. Once again, how many takes? Oh my god, that giant, the giant Wii controller, man, looks freaking insane right there. Of course, exclusive museum merchandise. October 2nd. Nice. Well, that was cool. Honestly, that was cool. I wasn't sure what how I was gonna feel about like this video introducing the museum. I'm pretty sure they're keeping a lot of stuff under wraps because they want, obviously if you show everything the museum has, like why would you go? I'm hoping that they said there's 8 activities and we saw like 3 because we saw the interactive cards on the floor. We saw the zapper room and then we saw the giant controller room. So there's like 5 other major activities that we haven't seen. So they're honestly, yeah, well, I'm wondering if Nintendo's gonna stop like people from filming in there. You know what I mean? Because um I guarantee you for like influencers and people who like YouTubers and whatnot, it's gonna be like a go-to destination to like film the inside. But I'm really wondering if they're gonna stop you because they said like you have to use the device, you have to use the smart device provided by the museum when you're playing the card game. I'm almost wondering if they're gonna like basically not allow you to use smartphones in the museum. Like obviously you can probably read texts and stuff, but they don't want people walking around like with smartphones with the camera going. I don't know. I'm just talking. They could maybe leave it open and let people do whatever they want, but I have like this feeling that they might actually try to stop people from sharing the inside of the museum so that you actually have to go to see what the activities are like. Yeah, I have this feeling that videos won't be allowed. Um, but because if not, why wouldn't you just give an app that people download and then use your own smart device to interact with the games? You know what I mean? Unless there's really a special thing, and like smartphones, maybe not every model of smartphone can keep up with it and stuff like that. But honestly, it's really cool. Um, like I said, the only thing to me is that the collection seemed a little bit sparse when we looked at the NES collection. But who knows? There might be a separate room because those might be like the sort of like highlighted games. Because if you look, they were a lot of the launch titles and the first party titles from Nintendo. Maybe they have a separate room where they keep like the third party games and stuff like that. But still, I think this is very cool. This was a surprise drop today. And I'm excited to go myself, but I think that's one of those things where um, it sort of sucks that it's so far away. Like, if it was anywhere else than Japan, like I'd be like I'd be even more excited. Like, that's maybe the only part that is keeping me a little bit, you know, chiller, where I'm not like, oh my God, this is insane. So, what do you guys think? Museum, cool. I know Frenchy Mom said it would be great to see everything and whatnot. But what are you guys thinking? Museum, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know. Um, in the meantime, we're gonna move on to our second story because, like I said, we have a lot of stuff to go over. There's a lot of game trailers to watch because we got a lot of announcements, and there's a couple that I think people might have missed here and there. So I really want to go over. There's a few that I really want to go over, definitely. But we're gonna jump straight into the Nintendo Switch 2 news. The huge story that dropped that's going to change everyone's life about the Nintendo Switch 2. And I am being sarcastic here because basically there are two bits of information that came out. I feel like saying over the weekend, August 16th. Yeah, it was like Friday-ish. We're like the 19th. So yeah, so it's end of last week. Number one is that, and this is why I'm saying that people that make a video around like a post like this, it's perfectly fine. I'm not dissing anyone. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't talk for like 10 minutes about this in a specific video only about this. But the Toyo security analyst Hideki Yasuda says that Nintendo's next gen would be coming in the first half of next year. We've been saying that for a freaking long time. So, I mean, and let's read the whole thing, but GameIndustry.biz previously said it wouldn't come this fiscal year. So that means that the launch would be sometimes between April and June of 2025. So basically, you know, I think this is one of the most safe predictions you can make. First half of 2025, like you can see that these people are, like I said, right now everyone's taking shots in the dark, and this post got a lot of traction online with the original one. So it's really funny that this thing started trending and going crazy because, I mean, a lot of people have been saying this since the beginning. And they also did a preview that the system would be up to $500. And I just want to stress that. They said up to $500. That does not mean the system is going to be $500, but just to be honest, if anyone was thinking that the Nintendo Switch 2 was going to come in at the same price as the first one, I'm sad to say that it's almost guaranteed it's going to be more expensive. Now, personally, I think Nintendo's going to aim more for the 400 price point, which is most likely why they're going back to an LCD screen, okay, to save costs where they can and not come out with a $500 system. But so it's really important. The way the article was written, they really said that the new system could cost up to $500. But once again, this is people being extremely safe. They don't want to, you know, they're trying to make sure that basically it looks like they hit. But right now, saying first half of 2025 under $500 is like the safest prediction you can make. So the fact that this was getting like a lot of traction, I'm fine, but it just shows you how people are thirsty for the information, because this isn't, at least to me, it doesn't feel like anything new, because this is pretty much what things have been pointed to since that post came out, that the Switch was going to be announced before the end of the fiscal year. And like I said, I'm still feeling that we're going to get an announcement in October. I'm still feeling it for the moment. I still feel we're going to get an announcement in October. You think it'll be 450? I'm hoping 400. You know why? Because if it's 400, that means it'll be above 500. Even at 400, it'll already be more than 500 for me here in Canada. So I'm really hoping it hits at 400, because if not, that means I'm going to be buying another $550, $600 system again. Like, God, please save me. But that is the first bit of information we got. Now, the second part of information, at least from my perspective, does feel a little bit more interesting. So the second article we got, and this is from tweaktown.com, is that apparently, the PS5 Pro Switch 2 chips have been shipped out by their Chinese supplier. Now, I just want to say that they stretched this a bit, okay? They stretched this a bit, because the actual notice that was made was this here. Looking forward to the market outlook in the field of power management IC. by Well-Trend CEO Lin Changtao, said that game console application orders have rebounded since the third quarter, including the introduction and shipment of new models of PS5, Xbox, and Switch. While personal computer applications have shown moderate growth, and in the electronics industry driven by rising demand during the peak season, sales are expected to increase. Well, I do find a little more interesting, especially the fact that they say they have shipped. Because at first I was like, okay, they're just talking about orders, but orders could be for shipment out in 6 months. It could be for shipment out in a year. We have no idea when these chips are landing. But no, apparently it is the introduction and shipment of the chips. Now, just to be clear, this is only the power management IC. I know it's only, so we're not talking about a full console or a full, you know, list of chips that you need to have a console run. But the fact that they're already getting shipments of different, like, these are sort of the end game things, you know what I mean? Because basically, when you're preparing a new console, you're putting it together, you're obviously going to have to get the parts together earlier for assembly and whatnot, because you'll have different, basically different providers providing different parts of the chips and whatnot. And then basically, normally they'll all be put together in a location where the system's going to be assembled and whatnot. So this is normal that this happens, like, but the fact that we're starting to talk about actual chips and not like the chargers like last time, because the chargers you can order way in advance and they're going to take up space, but you don't actually need them often to get out to partners, you know, because that's in the boxing phase that you're going to throw that in. But if they're ordering chips like power management ICs, those are things that generally we're talking about the final steps before the consoles get assembled. So there's a very good chance that currently, or it's maybe already started, Switch 2s have started probably the manufacturing process. Maybe not the mass productions, but here in the article they say mass production of the new systems is apparently underway, with Sony having already shipped thousands of PS5 Pro development kits throughout 2022. But they're not specifying which one of the systems are in mass production. Okay, so this is where I said they stretched the information here a bit, because if they just said that Sony's producing PS5 Pros, that doesn't mean that Nintendo is as well an Xbox, and they're sort of twisting the words around to make it sound like all three of them have kicked it off. But this is the second bit of information that dropped that does probably indicate, like I said, that Nintendo's ready to get going with the announcement for this console. Once again, all this is keeping me maintaining that I do think we are going to hear about it before the end of the calendar year. So and like I said, I maintain October. And now the fact that the museum is opening in October, it might be an event around like the opening. You know what I mean? They might actually try to sort of, I don't want to say combine the two things, because obviously the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to overshadow the museum. But if you're opening your museum in October, what more hype to get people out to go see Nintendo stuff, especially in Japan, than to announce the console at the same time? It will get a lot of traction and a lot of people talking about the system, and also talking about the possibility that basically the announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2, and it'll basically bleed over into the Nintendo Museum. Just the way like when a Mario movie comes out, it blades into the Mario games and whatnot. It'll be the same thing. Once that console is announced, especially if it has retro compatibility, I guarantee you on top of it, the games are going to get a kick up. So at first, when I was worried, the only thing that could put a kibosh on all that is if the Switch is not retro compatible. Then that means that Nintendo might wait till after the holiday season. But I'm almost sure it's going to be. Like I have this feeling it's going to be. When I say I'm almost sure, I mean I'm going off of like gut instincts, and my gut instinct says they're gonna go retro compatible. Okay, so that was the Nintendo Switch 2 news. Is anyone feeling better? Is everyone feeling like, you know, we've just got revolutionary information. You now know everything you need to know about the Nintendo Switch 2. You think they're going to release a light version right away? I don't think so. Personally, once kilos, look, if they do, more power to them. I don't think they're going to release more than one SKU to begin with. I just don't think that production wise they're going to want to do that, because you always run the risk of one sitting on shelves with everyone wanting the other one. And early adopters generally go right away for the biggest model they can. The Switch Lite is a good way to get people into the model after it's been out for a year or two, and people say, oh, it's too expensive. Perfect. Here's a cheaper version. Like, personally, I think that having multiple SKUs of the Xbox and PlayStation hurt them, because sometimes you would come up and it wasn't the right version that a store had, and you would walk out with nothing. While if you had more of the SKU that everyone was wanting, like personally here, when no one could find a Series X, you could find a Series S anywhere. They were overstocked. Stores couldn't get them out the door. I think that they hurt themselves. I know it's maybe not exactly the same thing between a Switch Lite and a Switch, the normal Switch, because you're talking about like, two consoles that have about the same game library and capacities. Well, the S and the X have the same capacities, but people knew that eventually the games were going to run sort of not that good on the S, let's say. You always start with the most expensive. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think they'll do. You'll go with the standard model. You'll get the... Honestly, I really think they're going to reproduce about what they did with the Switch, where they might do a refresh after like 3 or 4 years. But yeah. Well, and honestly, I'm not a huge rumor guy, but I think this show is the perfect place to put them in, because we can look at them in a sort of fast, quick fire way, and it's nonetheless, for people that are interested, we get to talk about it. Because I just was never talking about them before, because like I said, personally, I can't make a video out of this news. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, the video would have felt like, oh my God, I'm talking about not something. But as a small capture in these weekly updates, we'll look at the stuff that's going around, and I'll give you my take on it, and maybe, and I always look at it from the perspective of going, grounded views. I'm not going to try to hype it up to something it's not, which, I think a lot, it happens. Congratulations on the 20K. Thank you very much, Grovel. It's very appreciated. I'm super happy as well. Okay, so I think we've talked about Nintendo Switch 2 enough for this week. When something really juicy comes out, trust me, we'll go deep into it. I don't think they'll launch a console till they have new Zelda games to pair with it. Honestly, I don't think we're gonna get a new Zelda game unless we get like just a remaster of Breath of the Wild. I'm thinking, you know what I mean? They might just do a patch where Breath of the Wild will run like, you know what I mean, be upscaled to 4K and like run at a better frame rate on the new console, or just, more polished graphics. I can see that happening, but I don't think that we'll get another new Zelda game, especially with the Echoes coming out in this, like in about a month or two. I wish there was a new Zelda title. I just honestly, I do think we're going to get a remastered Breath of the Wild. I do think we're going to get a remaster Breath of the Wild. If it's not a launch title, it'll be a very early title. Okay, so now let's take a look at a few quick little stories. Now, this is one that I would definitely say that if you have a PC and you want to play this game, pick it up as freaking fast as possible, because I'm pretty 100% sure that this game is going to get shut down by Nintendo extremely quickly. I've came across this post on X. I think I retweeted it. Yeah, I did. I retweeted it on my account. Starshey put out a fan game for it called Super Mario and the Rainbow Stars that is basically using a art style inspired by Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi franchise, and it's a 2 to 4 hour long demo. It's a free download that you can check out on github.io. I downloaded it myself, so I have it already, because I am pretty sure that if this game gets any traction whatsoever, and we're going to look at the trailer here full screen in a few seconds, Nintendo's going to be shutting it down. So if you want to have a chance to play it, pick it up as soon as possible, save it. Even if you don't have time to play it, save it somewhere on a hard drive, something, because I don't think this game is going to stick around for very long. So let's take a look here at the trailer, because it actually looks really good, but it looks very infringing on the Nintendo IP. And you guys know how the Nintendo ninjas are. This thing will get shut down extremely quickly. So let's take a look. Let's get this one started, and we'll look at the trailer, then talk about it. They might think Nintendo won't, but they will. You don't have the audio? Oh, guys, man, I wish you would have told me. I would have done. Oh, god dang it. Give me a sec. I am so sad. That means you guys didn't have audio during the whole museum tour. Damn. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to try and make sure that for this, because I generally cut the sound to my desktop, or else you guys get, when I'm gaming, like when I'm playing games, yeah, at least there were captions, but that's still, you know, you could hear his voice, even though, you know, you don't, unless you understand Japanese, that you can get it directly. But yeah, when I play games, it does a echo if I leave the desktop, because the sound from the game for me doesn't come through the Switch. It comes through the computer. It's all good, guys. No, but honestly, I don't care if the show gets copyrighted. I do the show because it's fun for me, and I think it's fun for you guys. So I actually don't care if the show gets copyrighted. I mean, I'll try and
Let's go.
Not like they're using sound bits from the game. Let's go. That shouldn't be too bad. Should be better now. Now you're just asking for a lot, Grovel there. Needs more bass. Yeah, honestly, it looks really nice, but that's why I said download it, because at least if you do have the demo downloaded, it can never be taken away from you. So you'll be able to at least try it out. And it's supposed to be a 2 to 4 hour long demo, which honestly is the length of some small indie games. So it seems to be a pretty comprehensive demo. But yeah, I am a little amazed because look, this is not my personal opinion, because to me, I would love to have fan games of these things. However, they went very close. You know what I mean? It's not only putting a dude that looks like Mario in a game, in a 2D platformer, but on top of it, every character is from, like, you're taking every character from the Mario franchise. You've got Yoshi, you've got like King Koopa, you've got even the dolphin, you've got the transformations are the same ones as the game. So you have like the frog suit, you have the cat suit. And I know that this probably for these people is like a super like how can you say well, there's two reasons why they might be putting this out, to be totally honest, and we'll get into the second reason. But to them, they might be like, oh my God, we're not making any money off of this. I don't know if they plan to sell it, because it's a demo. So if it's a demo, I'm like, is it just because the game's not done, or it's because you're planning to sell it? If you're planning to sell it, then they're setting themselves up not only for getting it shut down, they're getting set up to be sued. So I hope that's not their plan. But yes, the game looks amazing, but you're using the same character, the same gaming genre as he's used to, and you're using almost like the worlds, the side characters, everything looks like Mario. Like, you could make an argument that they are actually providing a substitute product to the original, and that you know what I mean? And they could actually impact sales to Mario things, because people are like, well, why wouldn't I play the free one if why would I buy Mario if I can play a free one? Okay. The second reason why they might be doing this, however, if they keep it free and they did a demo that's 2 to 4 hours long, is this might be a weird way to audition for Nintendo. You understand? Like, sometimes these people, developers do this to get noticed by Nintendo and try to get hired by them. Now, I know you guys are going to be like, well, no, they're going to hate them. It's not exactly like that. You know what I mean? It's that if they send them a cease and desist, but they actually try the game and find that, oh my God, these guys have some really amazing ideas and talent, and they comply with the cease and desist right away, they could set themselves up actually for being noticed by Nintendo. It's sort of like the government hiring the best hackers, companies hiring the best hackers that hack them as security consultants. It's the same idea, but like in game development. They're like, hey, we can do a really awesome Mario game. Here's what we could do. And they did change very small things. Like, if you look, Mario doesn't have an M on his cap. He has the white circle, but the white circle's empty. You don't see the M on it. But that's not enough to say, hey, this isn't Mario. He has the same voice lines. He does the same, you know what I mean? Like, it's just insane. But check out the link in the description of the podcast when I put it live. It's down there at the github.io. You can pick it. Well, it's a link to the X post, and you can follow the link, because I don't want to link directly to GitHub since I'm not associated with them. So I just linked you the the post on X, and you guys can pick it up. I would, however, recommend doing it quickly, as I said, because I'm pretty sure they're going to get shut down. But it's too bad because the game does look amazing, and it does look like it is an art style I find that works very well. As much as we got 2D Mario last year with Mario. Oh my god, I'm so freaking terrible with names. That is so frustrating. I was about to say a Mario Odyssey. Where can I find it easily? Wonder. Thank you. Oof. That took me forever. Super Mario Wonder. Like, I like the art style that they used for Super Mario Wonder, but I find this one works very well as well. Thank you. Yeah, you guys got it at the same time as me. But I think this art style works very well as a sort of bridge between old school Mario and new school Mario, while keeping a very, very retro feel. So I do very much like it. I would like to watch Gamescom, but I'm working this week. It's going to be very difficult. I'm actually working during opening night tomorrow, but I am going to be following it, and most likely we're going to be talking about it in next week's show. Next week's show might actually be a home like if we get enough Nintendo news there, it might be a whole Gamescom focused thing. But at the same time, I don't think Nintendo's going to do much at Gamescom, just because they're going to do it in their own direct. You know what I mean? They're not going to pay Jeff to have their games there. They don't need to. But that is one of the first things I wanted to show. Another thing really quickly I wanted to go through. Once again, link will be available. Emio is going to be getting a free demo starting today. So if you guys had... Now, I know personally I lost interest when I saw the style of game that was going to be, because I really thought Nintendo was going to be doing a really awesome horror game for once. But if you are wanting to try the Famicom Detective Club, the demo should be available starting today. Nintendo did pop this out on the 16th as well. Am I still live? Yes, I'm still live, Martin. But so if you guys are wanting to pick, if you guys were sort of on the fence and you weren't sure if this is a game you wanted to play, you could check out the demo. I do recommend it if you do like, novel type games. I think there's going to be some fun to be had here. Personally, right now, there's too many other types of games. He's always live. This is his secret. It's like Hulk. My secret is I'm always live. No. I have to talk to you guys. I have to let you guys know I'm actually crushing on a game right now that I never thought I'd be crushing on. Before we end the stream, I'll let you guys know what game it is. Expect a review very, very soon. And honestly, I never thought that I would be crushing on that game. Okay, so we've got Famicom Detective Club. That was just a quick one I wanted to throw out because I know it went back and forth. People were super excited when it first got announced. When everyone found out that it was a Famicom Detective Club, people like sort of lost interest. But if you're on the fence and you wanted to try it, that was an awesome one. Bakeru's getting a release on September 3rd. We played it last week. I streamed last week the demo of Bakeru. So by the way, the release date was announced for September 3rd last week. However, we talked about it if you did. No problem, Martin. I understand. You can let me know tomorrow your thoughts, man. Okay, now we're going to get into the actual game announcements. So we've got like the little tidbits of news out of the way. Now, honestly, this part of the show for probably till the end of the show, we're going to be looking at game announcements and games coming out this week. I am going to let you know we are going to start with the announcements we got, which for some of these games are actually pretty freaking interesting. Now, let's clear out a couple of windows here. Let's start with my exciting news that we got today. This was dropped, but Funko Fusion, hold on, we have to get through the ad. You're almost done with Cat Quest 2. Nice. So Funko Fusion, if you don't know what it is basically Funko Pops. They're making a game. It's coming out, I think it's November 15th. Yeah, November 15th for basically all the major systems, PC, PS5, Xbox Series S, and Nintendo Switch, because there is even a PS4 version that's going to be made. It's basically Funko's using their major properties in a sort of 3D action game. And apparently you'll be playing through stages as the different properties that they have access to, like Jurassic Park and whatnot. And one of these is actually Megaman. And honestly, is it as good as a real Megaman game? Obviously not. But the gameplay that I saw got me super excited, and I'm actually probably going to pick up the game now, because this was a game I was sort of on the fence with. I wasn't sure I was going to really want to play it like right as it came out. I knew I wanted to play it eventually, but not as it came out. And now seeing how they did the Mega Man property, and that it seems to be like, if they're announcing it in a separate reveal trailer, it's probably because there's a pretty decent amount of the game that's going to be, you'll have access to Mega Man. It looks super, super exciting. And since Capcom isn't really right now working on any Mega Man games, this is the best we get for new Mega Man. So let's take a look at the trailer. So it wasn't very long, but it did get me excited enough to know, like, holy damn, is this game going to have separate levels based on all the different characters? At the same time, a lot of the levels weren't directly Mega Man related that we saw here. So I'm wondering if they're going down the Lego route, like the Lego games, where basically, epic music, man. It is the classic Mega Man music. It looks like the Mega Man Legends we never got. But I'm wondering if they're not going the Lego route, where basically sort of like, imagine Marvel superheroes, but rather than just like Lego Marvel superheroes, but rather than just Marvel superheroes, you have access to all the different franchises, and you'll be able to play the levels with different characters. And every character will have sort of like a class, sort of like in Lego, once again, Marvel or Lego Star Wars, the games, where you have some characters that are Jedis, so they're melee combat. Others are pistol combat. Others have grapple hooks and stuff like that. They have utilities, and you'll be able to go through the levels with different characters that you'll unlock through the game. And I'm almost wondering if you're going to be able to scan Funko Pops that you own, and they unlock the characters in the game. I'm wondering if they're going to go down that route. If they go down that route, I'm pretty set, because I've got a still ton of Funko Pops left over, and that would actually be a really cool side note. For people who don't own Funko Pops, however, it might suck a bit, but it has me wondering, like, asking a lot of questions about the game, and I'm sort of more interested in it now that we are seeing a little bit of gameplay like this with different characters. So that's the first announcement we got. Yeah, I'm wondering if we're gonna do it. I'm not saying we are because there's been no official like announcement of how it works to get access to different characters. Maybe you just play the games and you unlock them sort of like Lego, but there is that little possibility that came to mind for me, and I am wondering if that is not going to be part of it. Or maybe it'll be both. Sort of you have to work to unlock them, but if you own the Funko Pops, you can unlock them like right away. Next, we have another announcement that I want to go over. We're getting another commercial.
Économiser en achetant les articles pour leur entrée sur Amazon. Mais arrêtez de grandir.
And this one, out of all the announced games that we're going to look at, and I'm looking at them, this one has maybe the most excited. Because this came out of left field. Yeah, Quebec commercials. I have my location settings so they can tell where I am. We're getting French commercials. But seriously, this came out of left field, and it has me extremely excited. And I would have never expected that we were going to get this kind of game. It is Halloween and Ash done as retro action platformers. Okay? Be prepared, because when I saw this, I lost my shit, theoretically. Because I was like, when they said there were Halloween games coming out, I was like, okay. It'll be like Dead Till Daylight or something like that, but done with, Michael Myers, which he was already, I think, an optional character in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Whatnot. But then I saw what they did, and I'm like, oh my god, this game was made for me. And on top of it, Ash versus the Evil Dead as well. What the heck?
Rated M for mature.
So let's take a look at the trailer. Yeah, it looks sick. That looks sick. A crossover between Halloween and Ash versus the Evil Dead. Like, this automatically shot up to, like, the game I'm most looking forward to almost in October. Because Zelda's coming out in September. I honestly feel that it will get a physical release. I'm feeling, though, it might be a limited run games. Which, I've already said, nothing against limited run games. It's just expensive when you're not in the US to get limited run games. Because shipping costs a ton, exchange rate and whatnot. You end up paying like $60 to $70 for like a $35 retro game that you should feel good about and get a physical game. You hate LRG. Yeah, I hate waiting for it. Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say, for me personally, my biggest gripe is that I often end up having to buy, like, if there is a limited runs game version of a game, I end up having to buy the digital version as well for the channel so that we can actually play the game within the first year. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of them comes out after, like, a year later. and by then it's too late to play it on the channel. So I end up having to pick up a digital version so we can actually play the game when it comes out, and then wait for the physical. When you go through something like PlayAsia, because there's an Asian version, it comes out. It takes three weeks to a month to get here in Canada. At least it's like close enough to the date where the game is still relevant when you get it. Yeah, VGP is a good intermediate because they get a lot of the limited run games. So that was honestly very top of the list of the announcements we got. It just looks great. The animation looks great. The feeling of the games looks great. Like it feels like Halloween. It feels like Evil Dead. I don't know what else to say. Like they just seem to have nailed it, and I just never thought we'd see like a retro game from these franchises in 2024. It's great that they went that way. But if you think about it, it is super smart because the biggest fans of those movies are right now in their 30s and 40s. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. If you talk to a kid, like a 20-year-old, about Evil Dead, you have some that will know it. But you're not going to have huge fans, in my opinion, of Evil Dead or Halloween because there's been no good movies in the last few years. Like, they've tried to relaunch the series, but the best movies are in the past. And all of these people grew up with, retro style gaming. We're getting back into the games. So actually going for that style fits perfectly with the age group of the people you're going after. Okay, next we got the Knightling. This one was announced, and I am super interested. I have a feeling I saw it somewhere else before. I probably just didn't know it was coming to the Switch, which is why I didn't pay attention. I feel I saw it somewhere else, but Knightling looks super exciting. They're millennials, you're Gen Z, and you have no idea what's up with the Halloween series and all that. It's fine, Squirrel. You're still welcome here. It doesn't matter. Halloween was one of the cheesiest, greatest, like, popcorn horror flicks of the, like, 80s. I feel 80s, 90s. I think some of the editions, some of the good ones came out in the 90s. It was like Halloween and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Those were like the three franchises that at one point we thought we'd be getting like 25 of them. And actually Friday the 13th, we're probably not far. We've got over a dozen, so it's like insane. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, man, those were the, like, I used to watch those movies and laugh because, like, especially Friday the 13th, I find after the fifth one, they started going really ridiculous with the humor. Well, like, where the kills were so dumb, like, so overdone that it's bordered on humor. Yeah, I know. I just found that the new ones don't have the magic of the first ones. That's why I said that there are movies, but they, like, you have no movies that hit like the originals. So let's take a look at Knightling because I think this is a game a lot of people are going to be interested in.
Sir Lionstone, the most valorous knight one could ever meet. Leagues above any guard and soldier in the realm. Unmatched in his appetite.
Which one do you think we're playing as?
Always ready to charge ahead. Flaunting his sharp eye and peerless aim, relentlessly striking his targets with a legendary precision and grace. Even so, never too proud for the smallest of quests. For a knight has to be ready at the best of times. And most certainly,
Iron Meat, I'll take a look, Marte.
As the one constant in life is change.
Now we see gameplay. Now, it is a while out. It's coming in 2025, and that's why I'm starting with the announcements, because some of these games are not coming out like tomorrow. But I am very hopeful for this one, especially when I saw Saber Interactive is most likely doing the porting to the Switch. Because when you see Saber Interactive, that's, in my opinion, that's why they're on the list of developers. It is looking good. Nice 3D action game. I feel it's going to be open world. It's not clear from the trailer 100%, but it does look somewhat open world, and I'm liking it. The graphics are nice. The art style is nice. It was so funny looking at me play the demo of Cuddly Carnage, bro. That game, that game, like, still today, I think I'm a little effed up because of that game. Like, the whole concept of it was, like, a little crazy. Holy crap. But yeah, getting back to the Knightling. Knightling is, like, yeah. When I saw this, at first, I was like, I'm like, are we going to see some gameplay? Because they do take, like, half the trailer is, like, that sort of the full motion video. Then I'm so glad when I saw the gameplay, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. As long as the game runs well on the Switch, I am in. It looks good. So Knightling coming in 2025. You know, excited, but it's hard to get super excited because we don't know how far out we are exactly. Then I think a game that a lot of people were talking about, actually, Iron Meat is a trailer. Is that what you want me to look at? Iron Meat trailer. Let's just go take a look. Guerrilla Collective. Oh, I think I saw this. Okay, well let's take a look at it, because Martin's been giving us asking us to look at Iron Meat for a little bit. 2 months ago, 1 year ago. Is there one 3 weeks ago? Okay, it's because it's getting a physical release. Okay, so let's take a look at the trailer that came out 3 weeks ago.
From Retroware Games, Iron Meat is finally done. Coming September 26th to PC and consoles. Worldwide physical release from strictly limited games.
I love the accent of the guy.
Defeat the meat.
Good looking run and gun shooter, man. Super Contra style.
Visit ironmeat.com to join the fight.
Yeah, definitely a game I think I'm going to be checking out. Yeah, so definitely Super Contra vibes. Animation looks good. I like the vibe they're going with overall too. They're like, you know, very 80s. At first with the music, I was getting like heavy metal vibes. You know, if you guys know the animated movie Heavy Metal, like I thought they were gonna go like in a heavy metal style, but then I went, okay, no, it's a run and gun shooter, so we're not going heavy metal. And honestly, I'm really wondering if someone one day is going to do a heavy metal inspired video game. Like, I think it would really work. Like taking the art style from that awesome animated movie, and then just slapping down some awesome freaking heavy metal music over it, and going ham on like a 2D action game. I think that would work like freaking awesome. Okay. Next, we have probably one that a lot of people already know about. But yes, we got a release date for the Plucky Squire. And it is pretty soon. And this game is another game. I would say that in the list of what we looked at, this is like my second game that I'm excited about, that we're going to be getting pretty soon. Yeah, Val Ferris maybe has that style.
That is, if that humble beginning can be found. The peaceful land of Mojo is thrown into turmoil by a magical attack from the wicked sorcerer, Humgrump. This is a job for the hero of the land, Jot, the Plucky Squire. Jot has a knack for defeating wickedness with his trusty blade, and this battle against the horrid Humgrump should prove to be no exception. Foes will be felled as the fair folk of the land cheer Jot on. Except the folk of the land all have one question on their minds. When will this grand new adventure actually,
And this looks awesome. It looks like a storybook.
The land was abuzz, the anticipation electric. Jot could not let the people down, and luckily, it seems that he has found an answer to their question.
January 17, 2025.
Yes,
Wait,
Jot.
no.
That seems to be working.
September 17th.
Keep it up.
2024.
There
I love
it is.
the fake
Our
out.
great story has found its beginning.
I love the fake out. Like for a second there, it's like January 2025. Then, oh, no, wait. September goes there. 2024. And look, once again, yeah, the Squirrel said it. It is Devolver. And by the way, Frenchy Mom, you're right. Like I said, you're right. Val Ferris. And what's the other game that always the twin pack with Val Ferris? Now that you say it, Val Ferris. Slain. Slain has a very heavy metal vibe to it. But honestly, I actually think the heavy metal franchise could work. But yeah, it was a good fake out. And honestly, this game is, I think it's going to be a must play. And it's Devolver Digital. Like, when is the last time that Devolver Digital has missed on a game? Like, has every game been like a 9 or 10 out of 10? No. But almost every game has been an 8 out of 10 or higher. Like, it is never, they never totally miss on a game. At least in recent memory, I cannot think of one time that Devolver didn't hit. And to me, like an 8 or above is hitting with a game. And they've had even, I would say, a majority of 9s. Like, to me, oh my God, Cult of the Lamb was a 9. Even Bleak Sword DX was like an 8 to 8.5, somewhere there. You rage quit Slain. Yeah, Slain can be very painful. Yes. I'll give you that. Slain can be very painful. The controls sometimes sort of like fight you when you're trying to play the game. It's for hardcore people that can put all up with it. But yeah, it's insane. Devolver just keeps hitting. And we're going to go over this one quickly because I think a lot of you, if you follow the channel, you already knew that the Plucky Squire was what the game is, because we've talked about it in a couple of directs already. But it's coming out on September 17th. Very excited. It is going to be another top game for September. So honestly, it is crazy. Our year is shaping up very well, even though we are theoretically in what might be the last year of the Switch. There are so many good games coming out. And we have one last announcement to take a look at before we switch over to the games of the week. And this is
Cedar Hill is not exactly a noted hotbed of criminal
Telebbit.
activity.
That's not entirely.
Give me a sec. It is coming over. Boom. I most likely am going to stream Plucky Squire. If I can, I will. Like, I always say if I can, because like if last second something crazier comes out all of a sudden, or for whatever reason, there are major problems with the Switch version and it's not worth streaming, like if reviews come out or whatnot, that would be the only reason. But if not, pretty sure we are. So next we have Telebbit. And this one is a retro style 2D game, and it's looking very... Oh yeah, no, I'm just always... I always like putting a grain of salt, because I say like guaranteed we're gonna play a game, but I just don't want to disappoint anyone if last second something happens where we can't. Okay, let's watch this. October 24th, we have Telebbit. Okay, so it looks like a tough as nails precision platformer. Now, this is most likely not going to be a game for everyone, but I personally, every like month or two, I love playing one of these. Just like I just played Crimson, Mute Crimson DX. Honestly, yeah, Celeste on steroids. Thank you. That was exactly where I was going. I really got Celeste vibes from this one, but with a much more aggressive take on the gaming genre. Like it reminds me of Celeste in the movements and the way the game is presented, but very like, while Celeste was much more like, about a heartfelt storyline and whatnot, this one seems much more aggressive on that. But seriously, this one, super interested. I think this one we're going to keep an eye on. End of October. The good news is that for the moment, October is not insane as a month. There's a few really good releases, but they're all spaced out. So I'm really hoping I'll have time to check this one out. Okay? And now, before we jump into the upcoming games, because it's sort of a return on last week's games, I do want to show you guys the game that I said earlier I was going a little bit insane about. Because it took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to like this game as much as I did. And I'll be honest with you all, I'm going to review it very soon. Give me a sec here. And it is Minami Lane. I picked this game up. I bought it myself. It is a $5 game. It is really good for a $5 game. If you like time management sims, it is constructed excellently. It's super cutesy, but it's not cheap cutesy. When I saw that the game was only $5, I was scared that it was going to feel like a cheap mobile game. But honestly, it doesn't. And it most likely does work as a mobile game. But honestly, as a time management sim, everything flows perfectly. It is super satisfying. You're basically building your own street. And basically, when you set everything up before the day starts, and then when the day runs, you're only doing like busy activities. But playing through the campaign, if you go for like a completion with the optional objectives, only takes about 3 or 4 hours. but it presents you everything about the game in such an awesome way, and it's simple yet complex enough to be satisfying. And at $5, it not. I think that's what knocked, like, amazed me, is that the game is only $5. I can think of so many developers after playing this game would have easily tried to go for $10 or $15 on this game. And I'm telling you, even at $10, this would be a decent game. At $15, it would be pushing it. But the fact that they released it at $5 is completely insane to me. So if you like time management sims, like, you know, park builders and things like that, give Minami Lane a chance. It is a super cheap investment, but it is one that I think will pay off for a lot of people. And I'm playing through to see how fun it is to play multiple playthroughs now, so I can sort of finalize my review. But at the $5 price point, just to tell you guys, I'm sort of debating around a 9. Okay? Now, some people might say you're overdoing it, you're crazy, but I'm sorry. At $5 as a regular price, okay, as a full regular price, I really can't see what I could ask for more here. And even at times I was thinking of giving it a 10. In the sense that, you know what, as a $5 cheap eShop game, this is like the best I could expect. Does that make sense? Obviously, if I was paying $25 for this game, I'd be giving it more around like an 8 or like an 8-ish. But at $5, I can't think what I'd be expecting more from an eShop game. And at the same time, if you play through the game, the way it's presented, the way it plays out, you can see the developers put love and care into this game. And we saw it last week. It's like a couple that did this game together, and no review codes here. I bought it myself, okay? So it has nothing to do, but sometimes you just play a game and you can tell that the developers really cared about it, and that's the feeling you get here. But anyway, I'm going like maybe a bit overboard, but it's just sometimes I get amazed by the value that some people put into like a game and how they could have asked for more. It's sort of a Hollow Knight situation where the game is so amazing that you could have charged me $40 for it and I still would have thought I got a great game. The fact that I only had to pay $15 for it, I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you sure I only need to pay $15 for this game? Like, you know, anyway, gushing over. But if any of you were on the fence last week about Minami Lane and you like time management sims and you're ready to not expect like a huge park simulator, like something very straightforward, very easy to understand, but at the same time has a very satisfying loop to it, it's there. If you want to wait for the review, like I said, it shouldn't be more than a couple of days. Okay. I'm way behind on the under $5 eShop deals video. Sunday was a total shit show. Shit show is not the right word because I had fun with the family, but everything took double or triple the time it was supposed to. So rather than getting home around like 1 or 2 in the afternoon and pushing out the eShop deals video, I basically got home like at 6 p.m. and had to jump right into supper and everything and like lost my whole day. Had a lot of fun, but that's what happened with the eShop deals video. I'm a little disappointed because I finally had a really good flow going. We got the review out for Mute Crimson on Saturday, and I wanted to keep it going for Sunday. And obviously, life had to come slap me. Okay. Now, switching gears. It is time to look at the games for this week. So, let me take a look at my list here. We're going to go through the games for this week. We're going in chronological order. So, starting tomorrow, we have a free-to-play game coming out. which is Stumble Guys. Now, yes, it is sort of a ripoff of Fall Guys, but it is free to play. And on top of it, it is, if you look at the Steam charts, more people are playing Stumble Guys than they're playing Fall Guys. And I do think that I think it's even maybe on mobile, but I'd have to check, but I think it's even on mobile. But it does look like if you're looking for a sort of Falls Guy type experience, you don't want to pay any money whatsoever. I think you've got something here. So let's take a look at Stumble Guys. But it's exactly the concept of Fall Guys. Boom. Not that much to see, but if you're looking for a new free-to-play game, you didn't have a chance to play Fall Guys, or let's say you played Fall Guys, but you never really got into it and you want to give it a second try, I'd look definitely into Stumble Guys. It has a bigger viewership, player base right now, so you might actually get better matches and better things than you did on Fall Guys. Fall Guys sort of fell off pretty hard. Stumble Guys seems to be keeping a bigger player base, so I don't know if it's because the game is better or just if they're marketing it better or whatnot, but there's a bigger player base. So we have that coming out literally tomorrow. It might be out right now. A playthrough of Minami Lane. In my opinion, if you don't care about the optional objectives, you can probably play through the storyline in about 3 hours. If you care about the optional objectives, it'll probably take you more 4 to 5 hours of the story objectives. But there's also a sandbox mode. So once you're done with it, you can go play sandbox. Like you can just go build your street the way you want to, because you're building a street. So basically, yeah, you can replay it as much as you want on sandbox. And that's what I'm testing out to see like how much variation there is between one playthrough or not. I do think that'll maybe be the only downside that'll be keeping it from like a 10 is that I think there isn't that much of an upside to doing multiple like sort of sandbox modes. Okay, so Stumble Guys. Next we have next we're moving to the 21st, which is going to be Wednesday. And we have Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Now we're going to look at the trailer, but I also checked out reviews for the game because they came out today. And we'll watch the trailer first because the game looks beautiful, but apparently gameplay wise, maybe not that great. Alex did a great review over at Switch Corner on the game. If you want to check it out, I recommend checking out the trailer before picking up the game. But nonetheless, let's take a look. It is inspired by Kiki's Delivery Service. It has a very Studio Ghibli art style. Let's take a look. So basically, I had really high hopes for this game. I thought it was gonna. Well, I don't want to diss the game because I haven't played it personally. But by what I read 2 different reviews. Both of them gave the game around a 5 out of 10 because they said that the game is beautiful, but unfortunately, the mission structure in the game becomes repetitive quickly. Apparently, so the mission structure is not varied enough, and although the world is beautiful, apparently there isn't much warmth to the characters, so the characters don't deliver on the feeling you'd expect from a game like this, and the world is somewhat empty. So but this is a Kickstarter game, by the way, that they're working on, and theoretically, even though it's releasing on Steam, it's considered to be an early access. What that means is possibly they're gonna work on it and make it better over time. Yeah, it's a lot of fetch quests. Apparently, it's a lot of repetitive fetch quests, and it makes sense with like Kiki's delivery service. But if you're transforming it into a game, you need to sort of go outside of that bubble. So, yeah. Unfortunately, this one apparently is maybe not going to live up to what we can expect. But I did want to point it out because I think a lot of people will be attracted by this game. And I'd rather you give my take on the trailer. And also, like I said, I respect Alex over at Switch Corner a ton. That doesn't mean I agree 100% all the time on all games, but if I listen to his comments about the game, I do think as an objective review of the game, probably a lot of people are going to feel the same about it. Now, next we have one that I'm very on the fence about, but I wanted to take a look with you guys to get your take on it. And this is My Lovely Empress, also coming out on the 21st, so Wednesday. Now, don't worry, this isn't a HENTAI game, My Lovely Empress. At first, when I saw the title, I was like, oh no, another one of those. But no, it doesn't, it's not like that. So let's take a look. Yeah, I was getting the Three Kingdoms vibes too. So it's actually a management game. Okay, so I wasn't expecting this when I saw the overview of the game, like just the visual art style. The visual art style is what drew me in. I really liked the art style for the characters and everything. But once again, I'm very on the fence about this one because the gameplay can go both ways. It can be a really great management game, Three Kingdoms style, and be very deep. It can also go too deep for some people because I think Three Kingdoms puts a lot of people off because it's so Eastern philosophy and the decisions you need to make that sometimes it's a little hard from a Western perspective to get a grasp on it. But at the same time, I'm really interested in checking out a few reviews for this one. I'll be honest, I will not have time to review this one this week because I have a lot of other games that I'm working on right now to finish that I need to review because they will be games that I definitely want to put time into. But I do think that if you're into management sims, once again, maybe keep an eye out on this one. Check out a review if you can. It does look like a possibly interesting game for this week. So, My Lovely Empress coming August 21st. I forgot the prices so far on the games, by the way. Stumble Guys was free. However, Amika and the Witch's Mountain was $19.99, by the way. There was a sale for $16.99. I don't know if it's over yet, though. But at $20 for Mika and the Witch's Mountain, with the reviews it got, I would hold off. My Lovely Empress is coming in at $16.99. So, My Lovely Empress, like I said, for $17, check out a review. It's a lot to ask for a new IP like this, and that we don't quite know a lot about how the game's going to play out. Let's jump into another game, also on the 21st, Cyber Mission for $9.99. Now, I'll be honest, I wanted to look at this one sort of as a half warning, half like it could still be good, okay? But I do think that the way they're presenting the game is a little bit... I don't want to say the word false advertising, because if you watch the trailer, you clearly see what the game is. But they present it as a run-and-gun shooter meets a shoot-'em-up, but it's pretty much just a shoot-'em-up. We'll look at the gameplay. You'll see what I mean. What I mean when we look at it. But let's take a look, and you'll get exactly what I mean. We'll talk about it after. So, Cyber Mission coming out on the 21st, selling for $9.99. Don't worry, Marte. Trust me. You'll see that my opinions are along that line as well.
It is not advisable to drink water directly from the sewer.
Okie doke. I don't think we got anything else. No. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Number one, what got me to watch the trailer, and sometimes I want to do this because we're talking about the new Switch games, but we're not only going to look at automatically the good games. For me, it's a pass as well, and I'll explain to you why. Number one, I don't like the fact that they describe the game as a run-and-gun shooter meets a shoot-'em-up, because it is just a shoot-'em-up. All they did was they changed the sprite from a spaceship to a guy. And there's been other games like this that have come out, in the past, you know, where you are playing a what's the game with the where you're playing like an angel shoot 'em up as well, by this very same company that made it, Gainug. Like if you look at Gainug, it's basically the exact same. Gainug is G. I think it's G Y. Yeah, Gainug. Like it's the exact same concept. It's just basically you're a guy floating in space. So it has nothing to do with a run and gun shooter. It's a shoot 'em up. And the thing is, on the Switch, we have so many shoot 'em ups that I can name easily a dozen shoot 'em ups. Name might be a big word because I have trouble with titles, but there are easily a dozen shoot 'em ups that are better than this at the same or a lower price. So yeah, exactly. Any which one of the Cotton games are most likely going to be better than this one. So this is sort of like a warning against this one. If they would have made a really interesting hybrid concept between a run and gun shooter and a shoot 'em up, then I could give this game, be like, okay, yeah, let's give it a try. But it's basically just a shoot 'em up, and it doesn't even look like a really good one. Someone pointed it out. The gameplay looks slow. The graphics are unimpressive for me. Like the cutscenes, the pixel art during the couple of cutscenes that they showed is beautiful, but the actual pixel art during the gameplay, not very impressive. And I don't know for you guys, but even though we saw a couple of different weapons during the trailer, none of them make me feel particularly excited to try out the game and like, oh my god, that weapon looks cool or something like that. So personally, this is sort of like a warning for this game. If you're really hurting for a new shoot 'em up and you really like the idea of being a dude floating in space rather than a spaceship, sure, go for it. But personally, I would wait. Maybe if it's $2 at one point, try it then. But there are way better shoot 'em ups. If you don't know which ones, just check out best shoot 'em ups. I think I even have a video with the best shoot 'em ups that you can get on the Switch, and there are easily in my list of top 10. I'm pretty sure there's at least 4 or 5 that are under $10. So you're just better off with any of those. Okay. And you have some with way more original concepts than this one. So just watch out for Cyber Mission on the 21st. And I found that when you look at the still images, they try to make it look like you're a run and gun shooter at one point when you're not.
That's why I reached
out. But yeah. Next, we have White Eternal, also hitting on the 21st. White Eternal is going to be selling for $6.49. Once again, I'll be honest, it's going to be a reoccurring concept this week. A lot of games are really hard to figure out. By figure out, I mean that sometimes you can really tell right away if a game looks good or not. Doesn't mean it is, because you need to play it first to decide. But this week, a lot of the games are like, oh, it could go either way. But this one, it all depends on the quality of the gameplay. Yeah, it gives a Harry Potter feeling-ish. Now, this is what really scares me, is the combat. The combat looks stiff and clunky. Yeah, it's too bad because the art style looks interesting. The basic concept of the game looks fun, but the combat to me looks very iffy. Yeah, it looks turn-based, and it doesn't seem like the attacks are animated. Like, it puts a circle around your character, you get damage, but they pretty much, like, at least from what we saw in the trailer, all the attacks look the same. They shout out a different name, like a different name flashes on the screen, but then the actual effect of the attack looks the same. The only thing is, it is only a game that's being sold for $6.49. So, you can maybe get surprised. But quickly like that, especially after I just played Minami Lane, which for $5 gave me an amazing experience, I am very, very cautious about this one would be the word. Once again, wait for a couple of reviews. I'm most likely not going to be one of the people reviewing it. Same reason as previously. I just won't have time for this one, and it's too much of a risk factor that I'm going to put 4 or 5 hours into the game. I have no problem doing a bad review, by the way. It's just that I purposely, nonetheless, try to put my time into games that are interesting to talk about, either at the total... Like, I would like to review a game that looks really good that ends up not good. That, to me, is interesting. This one already gives you the idea that it's iffy. If it turns out to be iffy, it's just pretty much what we expected. Okay, now we're moving to the 22nd. As per my last email. Now this one, once again, I'm really having trouble figuring out what exactly is the point of the game. It's a physics-based game, and it sells for $6.29. Let's take a quick look. The trailer's not very long. My problem with the trailer is it doesn't really tell you what the point of the game is. Yeah, but like, are you trying to get a certain number of points before the timer runs out? Yeah, actually, I think I just saw here. Yeah, the music is good. I just saw here, you do have like an objective here at the top. So like he's at 12,000 points out of like, I think it's 85,000. So I think the only point of the game is to figure out what you need to smash to hit the point target within the time limit. I'm just like so weirded out in the sense that, is this all it is? I think it is. So personally, once again, most likely a pass for me. I just wanted to show it nonetheless because maybe for someone who really hates their job and needs to like pretend that you're smashing up your office, might feel good. You never know. Might feel good. And at least it's only $6.29. I agree, would get really old for me. I don't need a game like this right now. I have too many like well-developed games to play, if you will. But yeah, that's what we're getting this week. Like I said, it's like Office Space, the Smash Edition. Exactly. You're right. That's probably what triggered in my brain to be like, hey, this looks like something I know, Office Space. Okay. Next, we have one that Argol Kronos' Castle, that is releasing also on the 22nd, will be selling for $8.99. Another game that had me super interested, but the combat looks extremely stiff. And it sort of has me, once again, questioning if this game is going to be a good experience. I know I'm saying it a lot. This one I might try. This one I might try because it's enough up my alley where I want to know if it actually just looks stiff, but in the end plays decent. Sort of like Abator. If you guys did not watch my review on Abator, at first when I saw that game, I was like, this game looks so stiff. I'm not sure it's going to play fun. And it ended up playing great. Tons of fun. But Kronos' Castle, I'm wondering about the same thing, except I have less hope than I did for Abator. Let's look at the trailer. You'll see what I'm talking about. Sorry, guys. See, the combat looks stiff, but it could still work well if the animations are stiff, but the controls are responsive. And the bosses have interesting designs. Like this one I might actually try. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm getting Altered Beast vibes. The sound captures when she does the moves, though, could become annoying. Like the little scream she does with the sidekick. Yeah, this one, like I said, this one I think is probably going to be one I'm going to be trying to check out towards the end of the week. It has enough potential to go both ways. And I do think it's going to be like... This is what I mean by a game that, like, there's enough potential for it to be good, but it's also could be really bad. And in this case, it's really important that people know it's bad if it is, because it visually, it can give you the idea that like, oh, this is going to be cool. It's a really cool 2D action platformer. Then you try it and you're like, ugh, maybe not. Or the opposite. Game looks stiff. I'm not sure it's going to be good. And then because the system, you know, the gameplay system works out well, the stiffness doesn't actually matter. Exactly. Well, that's why I'm here, to try and give you guys the perspective when I can. I wish I had time to play all the games, to be honest. I wish I... And you know what? If some of these go on sale, I'll probably eventually try them if they go heavy enough on sale. Okay, let's move to the 22nd. We have 3 games left, okay? There were a lot this week, but all very like... This next one, though, is maybe the one that has the highest potential of being something good. It is Vern, The Shape of Fantasy. It is coming out on the 22nd as well, and it is going to be selling for $14.99.
Red Bull. D'abord la bague pour la demoiselle, ensuite les ailes.
Red Bull donne des ailes.
Yeah, we're getting the French commercials.
What's this? The gift of Placeia will help you to change pieces of the world. Only if your imagination is as brilliant as her flame.
So it's around Jules Verne, by the way.
Where am I? What the hell is going on?
The end of the nation is very close, Vern.
Let's take the artifact and forge a new world. Are you with me, brothers?
What do you fancy more?
A quick death beneath the sea or a long life of tortures at one of the nation's penitentiary mines? Move!
Someone around here has told me a story about you facing the Bloody Raven.
I must get out of here.
Nadine, we must emerge.
It's amazingly terrifying.
Enough! I don't want to hear you anymore!
All of us are marked with brutal scars, but you?
Somebody more centered? Somebody like you, with your hallucinations?
Here again? Did this artifact do it?
So I do think this is going to be... It obviously looks like a very narrative-driven journey. And it says it right here. Restart for the narrative-driven adventure game. Become Jules Verne and embark on a perilous adventure into Hemera, a fantastic parallel world built from Verne's imagination. Explore a strange new world, solve puzzles, and unlock the most coveted secret of mighty Atlantis. Verne is now available on PC via Steam, GOG, and it'll be coming out... That's what I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it plays as a point and click. I did not have time to check out reviews on Steam for it, but I do think that whether it's a point and click or not, is not going to change someone's decision on this game, in the sense that it looks like a puzzle adventure game. If we look, there didn't seem to be much action. It really is puzzle driven. So whether you're pointing and clicking or controlling it for a puzzle game like that, not going to change much. But to me, it looks good. I'm also a fan of Jules Verne. I like a lot of I like the world that are created from his different, the different books he wrote. So there's a high potential here for this game to be really good. Am I going to play it on release? Most likely not, however. Just because in general, any narrative-driven game it's hard to review without giving away... What I realize is narrative-driven games are very hard to review without ruining any type of... Without spoilers, basically. And without spoilers, you can't really explain how the game plays out. So, other than saying, "Oh yeah, it's good because the story's good," that's what it ends up being. I know it's sort of weird to say, but it's like a narrative-driven game is very hard. I'd rather cover it in eShop deals and just say yes, the game has a great written story. The point-and-click puzzles are good. If not, that's basically what the review turns out to be without doing it spoilerish. That is the problem with narrative-driven games, is that without sort of explaining stuff and becoming a spoilery, every review turns out to sound exactly the same. Oh, the characters are well written, the game is good, and blah, blah, blah. If I had time to do 25 reviews a week, I would do all of these as well, because it doesn't matter at that point that you have some that are repetitive. But for the moment, I'm trying to focus on games that, it's fun to review. It's fun to talk about. But yeah, I do think, however, this is going to be one of the really good games this week. The next game, we're actually not going to watch the trailer. It's more like, hey guys, it's because we talked about it last week. They're coming out with a Sam & Max The Complete Trilogy for $45. This one's releasing on August 23rd. It's going to be selling for $45. This is just the eShop listing page. It has the Devil's Playhouse that we looked at last week. But if you did want to get into the Sam & Max series all at once, this would be the time to pick up the Complete Trilogy. However, I would say you could also wait for a sale, because I do have a feeling that this, on Black Friday, you're going to be able to get easy 30 to 40% off, if not more. So if you've been waiting for the Sam & Max games and you're not aching to pick them up, it's really fun that they came out with a trilogy pack. And what that means is that I'm pretty sure Black Friday, we're going to be able to pick up this pack for really cheap. Okay? They're really good point-and-click, fun games, narrative-driven. Okay? But I would say that It's fun that they're doing a 3-pack, so this is the cheapest way to get them all at once if you don't have any of the games yet. However, if you are looking at getting all of the games, I would wait for a sale on it, because a triple pack like this means that their most like next move is a big sale on the triple pack. Okay, so that was just like a heads up. And our last game for this week is going to be Shadowblade Night Symphony, coming out on the 25th. And this one, I could not find a trailer on YouTube, but it is directly on the Nintendo Switch, on the Nintendo site. So we're going to watch the trailer on the Nintendo site. And once again, I am like, oh my god, this could be so good. But oh my god, this could also be so wonky and bad. It is going to be selling for $9.99, releasing on the 25th, as I said. Let's take a look at the trailer. There's some really awesome art styles like this. Okay, so once again, trailer is not very long, but this one, once again, could be really great or really bad. It's, what's the name of that cyber ninja running game? That's the game that came to mind when I saw this. It's the one that it runs. It came out on all the consoles, and graphically, it's really weak on the Switch. They came up with a second one. It hasn't even been ported to the Switch. It's not Cyber Ninja. But it's a first-person runner like this, and you have to do parkour. You're a ninja as well. You basically jump to like a cyber ninja. What's the title? Oh, God, I hate this. But basically, that's the vibe the game is giving to me. Ghost Runner. Thank you. Ghost Runner is the one I was looking for. So yeah, it looks like Ghost Runner, but done with a much more retro style. Most likely so it can run well on the Switch. The only thing is that some of the parts looked a little bit wonky. Some of the physics looked a little wonky. Like it didn't look as clean as Ghost Runner does or whatnot. But this one, I would say, has a decent potential. However, once again, this one I will be trying to pick up as well. Like I said, I try to target 2 games a week, and I find that these are the 2 that have the highest potential to pay off. Is Argol Kronos' Castle and Shadowblade. Because if both these games turn out to be good, I think a lot of people will be interested in them. And if they turn out to be bad, well, I just saved you some money. You know what? That's like my perspective on these 2. So these are the 2 games I am going to try to pick up. And hopefully I'll have time to review them both, unless I get slammed with something else as usual. But that is it for the upcoming games for this week. Now, as I say every week, this is not a comprehensive list. There are other games coming out this week, but I skipped what I would consider to be the games that I think are definite trash. Trash or just uninteresting. Sorry, I don't want to be insulting to the developers of all the games out there, because it's not necessarily trash, but to me that seem uninteresting, that look like eShop fodder or look exactly like other games out there, and that I feel that I don't need to give a warning about, because the other games that were there, they look enough like games that most people watching the channel here already know probably, yeah, I need to wait for a review on this one or just not pick it up. But those were the games for this week. And as you can see, I do think we have a bit of a lull week. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of a down week this week because the big games are coming out in starting September. So you can see that right now it's sort of like the calm before the storm. But starting on the first week of September, we are getting like big games almost each and every week. So I'm actually really looking forward to the start of September because the show, when we're going to be looking at the trailers, I won't have to be as like, it looks good, but be careful or whatnot. I do think we're going to be looking at a lot better. Boomerang X is also similar. Yes, you're right. Boomerang X, remember, it does make me think of Boomerang X as well, Needless Dragon. You are totally right there. And like both those games are pretty decent. Boomerang X is actually really good. It's just a huge steep like learning curve. It's like the learning curve. I think a lot of people that pick up Boomerang X are going to give up on it before getting good enough at it to actually have fun with the game. But either way, that was it for tonight for episode 3 of the Warp Zone. Just as usual, I most likely will be publishing the new games coming out separately tomorrow. So for those of you that are here tonight, you can sort of skip that one. Or you can support the channel, give it a huge thumbs up and just a watch through, as you're doing something else if you do. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully eShop deals, the under $5 list, will be coming out tomorrow. I'm going to work very hard to get it out tomorrow as well. But yeah, like I said, a few like unexpected twists and turns over the weekend. Thank you everyone for showing up tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Yeah, I hope we get more people into the streams. I mean, I'm very happy with everyone that's here. I do hope one day, however, we get to have like a huge audience for the show because I do think we are going to be covering everything that is going to be very interesting over time, and hopefully we're going to get to have an audience that is going to enjoy talking about these gaming things. And I'm glad you guys are liking the Warp Zone. I like it as well. To me, it's fun because we get to talk about all the things I want to talk that I never have time to do separate videos on, like I said, each and every week. So thanks all for showing up. Have a great evening. And as usual, I hope I'll see all of you in my next video. Have a great one, guys.